Here's what happens. You spend 4 hours sitting with your book open in front of you. You read the chapter once, twice, 3 times. Grab the yellow highlighter, then the pink one, then the green one. Make a beautiful summary, colorful, organized. Close the notebook with that feeling of, man, I crushed it studying today. Then the test comes and complete blank. You don't remember anything. And then you think, why am I so stupid? Why can't I learn? But let me tell you a truth that's gonna hurt a little. The problem isn't that you're studying wrong. It's that you're not even really studying. You're pretending to study. And look, I know that sounds harsh, but stay with me here because I'm going to explain exactly what's happening in your brain when you do this, and more importantly, how you break out of this trap. Because there's a neuroscientist named Barbara Oakley who literally wrote the book Learning How to Learn after failing math her entire life and becoming an engineering professor. And she discovered something that changed everything. Most of the techniques we use to study are the worst possible ones, and we don't even realize it. So let's get straight to the point. When you take a text and read it for the second time, the third time, you start to feel that sensation of, oh, I've seen this, I know this. And that feeling completely tricks you. It even has a name, illusion of fluency. It's when your brain confuses familiarity with knowledge. Like, you know that route from home to school, you've passed there 1,000 times. But that doesn't mean you can draw the map from memory, you know? You recognize it when you see it, but you can't reproduce it alone. And that's exactly what happens when you reread a text 10 times. You look and think, oh yeah, I know this. But when the teacher asks on the test, without the text in front of you, your mind goes completely blank. Why? Because recognizing isn't the same as remembering. And what matters on the test, in real life, anywhere, is you being able to pull that information from your head when you need it, not recognizing it when someone shows you. And there's an insane study that proves this. These researchers took 2 groups of students. Group A read the text 4 times. Group B read the text once and tried to remember 3 times without looking. After a week, they tested both groups. Guess who remembered more? Group B, 50% more, half more information retained. And here's what's crazy. Group A felt more confident. They thought they had learned more. But when it came to the actual test, they failed. That's the illusion of fluency in practice. Now you're probably thinking, but I make summaries, I highlight, I write everything down. And listen, I completely understand. I used to do that too. I had beautiful notebooks, colorful, organized, perfect lettering. And you know what I learned from them? Nothing. Because while I was making that pretty summary, my brain was on autopilot. I was copying words from one place to another. I wasn't processing. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't forcing my memory to work. And this is where we get to the central point. Your brain only learns when it has to make an effort. When you force it to retrieve information that isn't right there in front of you, you're creating strong neural connections. But when you just read passively, when you just copy, when you just watch class without interacting, your brain's like, okay, I don't need to store this because it's all available, and then it throws it away. There's this guy named Jim Quick who's a specialist in accelerated learning, and he wrote the book Limitless, and he has a method called FAST. The first letter, F, is for forget. Forget the distractions. Forget what you think you know. The second A is for active. Be active. Don't be a passenger in your learning, be the driver. S is for state. Your mental state matters. And T is for teach. Teach. And it's this last one that's the most powerful, because if you can't teach something, you don't really know it. Let me give you a practical example. Last week, I was studying an economics concept I needed to know. Read the text twice. Felt confident. Then my friend asked me, explain what that is. And I froze. Completely. I knew I had read it, I remembered the words in the text, but I couldn't explain it in my own words. You know what that meant? That I hadn't learned it. I had pretended to learn. And the craziest part is we do this because it feels productive. You spend 4 hours with the book open, you feel hardworking, dedicated, your parents look and say, wow, so studious. But results? 0. It's like running on a treadmill. You get tired, but you don't go anywhere. And then you get frustrated. You think the problem is with you, that you're not smart enough. But it's not that. The problem is the method. So how do you fix this? How do you stop pretending and start really studying? I'm going to give you 4 techniques that the books Make It Stick, Learning How to Learn, and Ultra Learning all agree work. And look, I've tested all of them. They really work. First technique, active recall. This means that after reading a text once, you close the book, grab a blank sheet, and try to write everything you remember. Don't look, don't peek. You'll see it's going to be hard. It's going to be frustrating. You'll think, man, I don't remember almost anything. And that's great, because that difficulty is what creates real learning. Every time you force your brain to search for information, you're strengthening that connection. It's like weight training for the brain. It hurts, but that's how it grows. Second technique, spaced repetition. It's no use studying 8 hours straight the day before the test. Your brain doesn't work like that. What works is you studying 1 hour today, reviewing tomorrow, reviewing in 3 days, reviewing in a week, each time with larger intervals. Why? Because when you let time pass, you forget a little. And then when you force the memory again, it becomes even stronger. It's literally how your brain decides what's important. Oh, this information came back again? Then it must be relevant. I'll store it better. Third technique, teach someone. Or if no one's available, teach the wall. Explain out loud as if you were giving a class. Use your own words. Use examples. Try to simplify, because when you can teach something, it means you really understood it. There's even a name for this, the Feynman technique, from physicist Richard Feynman. He said, if you can't explain something simply, you don't really understand it. And fourth technique, practice in real conditions. If the test will have essay questions, it's no use just reading. Write essay answers. If it'll have multiple choice, do multiple choice questions. If you'll have to solve problems, solve problems. Don't read about how to do it, do it. Because learning is about doing, not about seeing. Your brain learns through experience, not through passive observation. Now I know what you're thinking, but this is a lot more work. And yes, it is. It's much easier to keep rereading a nice colorful text than to close the book and try to remember everything. It's much more comfortable to make a neat little summary than to explain out loud to someone. But you know what the difference is? One works and the other doesn't. One makes you pass the test, and the other makes you fail and think you're stupid. And listen, you're not stupid. Your brain is an incredible machine, but it needs to be used the right way. Carol Dweck, who wrote the book Mindset, talks about this. She divides people into 2 types of mindset, fixed mindset and growth mindset. Fixed mindset is when you think, I'm not good at this, I'll never be. Growth mindset is when you think, I'm not good at this yet, but I can improve. And the difference between these 2 mindsets literally determines your success in life. So when you try to do active recall and can't remember anything, don't think, I'm terrible at this. Think, my brain hasn't consolidated this information yet, but it will. When you explain something and freeze halfway, don't give up. Keep trying. Look for other ways to explain. Because each attempt, each mistake, each difficulty is literally creating new synapses in your brain. And there's another important thing. You need to be in the right mental state. It's no use trying to study with your phone next to you getting notifications every 3 seconds. It's no use studying with Netflix open in another tab. Your brain can't process deep information when it's being constantly interrupted. Daniel Levitin, in the book The Organized Mind, explains that multitasking is a myth. You don't do 2 things at the same time. You just switch between them very quickly, and each switch has a cognitive cost. You lose focus, lose time, lose quality. So when you're really going to study, put your phone in another room, turn off notifications, close social media, set a time block like 25 minutes and focus only on that, then rest 5 and focus again. This even has a name, Pomodoro technique, and it works because it respects how your brain actually works. Look, I'm not saying all this as someone who always did it right. I spent years of my life studying the wrong way. I made beautiful, colorful, organized summaries, spent hours and hours sitting, and got bad grades, and didn't understand why, until I discovered this difference between pretending to study and really studying. And man, when I changed, the difference was absurd. I started studying fewer hours and learning more. Sounds like magic, but it's not. It's just science. And the best part, when you study the right way, you don't need to be anxious before the test, because you really know it. It's not that I think I know. It's I know. And that confidence changes everything. You walk into the room calm. You look at the test and recognize the topics, and when you start writing, the ideas flow, because they're really in your head, not just in the colorful summary that stayed home. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. Today, when you go to study, don't reread anything. Read once carefully, then close the material, grab a blank sheet, and try to write everything you remember. It's going to be hard. It's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to want to give up and open the book again, but resist, because that difficulty is the sign that your brain is working. It's creating connections. It's really learning. And then tell me in the comments how it went. Were you able to remember more or less than you expected? Did you feel the difference? Because I read all the comments and I want to know if this worked for you. Let's improve together. And if this video made sense, share it with that friend who spends hours studying but doesn't see results. They need to hear this. Thanks everyone. See you in the next one.